What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wonbyone Podcast, where we talk about the habits, mindsets, the systems that drive success on and off the court. I'm your host, Obi Emegano, 8-year professional athlete, Tokyo 2020 Olympian. I'm here joined today with my fellow Nigerian. What's going on, baby? EJ, what's going on? How you doing?
All is well. All is well. It's a blessing to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, tell the people. Give us a little insight on who we're talking to. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Where are you located? Talk to us.
Anosike, professional basketball player, fellow D Tigers player as well.
Yeah.
3-year professional pro. Currently just finished playing in Belgium. Getting ready for the next steps, the next opportunity.
You a young buck.
Yeah, pretty young with a lot of experience.
Young buck. 3 years. What's up, nephew? That's how they say it now. Dang. Okay, so 3 years. Talk to us, man. What we'll get to professional career here in a minute, man. But talk to us about about your little college journey, like basketball. How did it start for you?
Basketball, something that's always been a part of my life. Very fortunate enough to be the youngest of 8. My older sister, she played at the University of Tennessee, won 2 national championships with Pat Summitt, won 3 Final Fours. So I grew up seeing winning at the highest level. When she went to the WNBA, she was an all-star in the WNBA. And then my brother, Obi Emegano, he also played professionally, played collegiately as well for Fran McCaffrey at Siena. So growing up, I grew up in a basketball household. I'm just fortunate enough to be the youngest. They always say you see the best for last. So
They
that's
talking bad about you though. They
yeah,
talking bad. Your sister went to the WNBA. Sister did all that.
yeah. So I
So
always,
you're a little bro.
yeah, I'm a little bro, but like they always say, you always see the best for last. So
Dang.
so here I am today.
What was that like growing up in that household though? You said the youngest of 8?
Yeah,
Dang, bro. My dad gonna love to hear that. Watch.
we're true evil style.
He gonna love to hear that.
Yeah,
Watch.
true evil style.
Dang. So what was that like coming up behind them though?
I would say growing up behind them, definitely is a high standard, like in the household. I'm very fortunate enough to come from a Nigerian background. My mother preached education. My sisters, brothers, many of them are in the medical field.
The
So
only way.
yeah, everyone's in a lot of people in the medical field. It's a big academic and successful family. I'm just very thankful to be part of. And for me, being the youngest, you always inherit the pressure of living up to expectations and everything like that. But I just turned the pressure into purpose, like I always say, and just hey, pressure makes diamonds. So I became the biggest one.
Say that. All right. Say that. You practiced that a few times though.
Of course, I'm giving you catches. These are great catches for the grab.
Yo, that's dope, man. So, I mean, growing up, were you in the gym with your sister? I'm really like, I'm enamored right now. Like,
Yeah.
I want to hear what's going on. Did you had to grow up battling that? Did she put you on game? Like, did you learn from her coming up? What was that like?
See, we got a 12-year age difference. She put the
Okay.
rock in my hands at an early age. She used to take me to
Mm-hmm.
the park, teach me how to shoot.
Well, damn, we almost got a 12-year age difference,
What
nephew.
what up, Art? Yeah, so she used to take me to the park when I was younger on Saturdays. I always loved hooping, so she used to take me to the park. But really, it wasn't until I really got older into college that we started working out and stuff. But other than that, for me, just I was just exposed to it at the highest level. Like it was more so visual learning, going
And
to
you,
games, going to the Final Fours,
yeah,
being the ball boy, stuff like that. Just I was there to see it, and
that's incredible.
yeah. And I
That's
think
it.
that was the biggest lesson.
And then followed in the footsteps to Tennessee as well.
Yeah, through some hard work, I had the path was there.
Nah, no, I'm not saying it like that. I didn't mean it like that. Nah, I don't
Oh yeah, for
mean
sure, for
it
sure,
not
for sure.
like that. Nah, not at
Yeah,
all.
we made Tennessee was actually one of my dream schools. So to be able, have an unconventional route, at the time where I grew up, the landscape of college basketball started to change.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like you could go to a smaller school, dominate, and then move up, transfer up. Whereas generations previous, it wasn't. If you commit there, that's where you stuck at. So I was
Yeah.
one of the first pioneers, first generation of the guys that, the whole portal thing started happening, and I used it to my advantage. And
Okay, so talk to me. What happened? Cause when I was in college, God dang, I'm old, man. Listen, when I was in college, bro, it was you wasn't transferring nowhere. Like I transferred because I transferred, but I had to sit out. It's just
it
that
was
was
like
back.
a taboo if you transfer.
Exactly. Back then,
Transferred is
like they
like
tried to hang me for transferring back then.
facts,
You know what I'm
facts.
saying? So
Yeah, for me, I would say for my generation, I'm very blessed to be able to have the best of both worlds from the carryover generation before me, where it's like, yeah, you can't transfer right away. You gotta stick it out. And then to be able to things change to now it's a business, like you can make a move to change the trajectory of your career. For me, I was a late bloomer. Um, I decided to go to prep school. I went to St. Thomas More in Connecticut. I played for Coach Jerry Quinn. And I'll say going there, playing for Coach Quinn and NEPSAC AAA, for most people who don't know, that's one of the best high school basketball conferences in the U.S.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the best high school basketball conferences in the U.S. That's
What
fun.
is it? What's it called?
It's the NEPSAC AAA conference, the New England Prep School.
Where the dogs at?
Yeah, it's where the dogs is at.
It's crazy though because basketball up there is different.
It's different,
Hey, you if you can play up there, bro, it's different up there.
Yeah, man. The
It's some
conversation.
animal. It's like real, like up there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of scary up there if you don't really know what you're getting into.
For sure, for sure. And playing NEPSAC, we played college rules. So
Okay.
we had almost a 40-game season, and we played shot clock. We traveled. We played against Brewster, South Kent, Montverde. So we played. I was already
Oh,
battle tested when I entered college, so I decided to go to Sacred
oh.
Heart University. Play for Coach Latina. Um,
Where?
Sacred Heart University. I started at Sacred Heart in Connecticut
Okay.
in the NEC. Play for Coach Latina. They recruited me the hardest. I had a lot of schools. Like I said, I was a late bloomer, but you got to go to where the head coach loves you the most. So that was the advice my prep school coach told me. I took his advice, went to Sacred Heart, and then here, welcome to college. So our first year of college, I had 7, 8 seniors on the team, and I had to learn a lesson. No matter how good you do in practice, you're not playing over seniors. So that was a tough one coming into college to adjust. You have to
You
wait.
felt like you should have been playing?
Of course, of course.
Now looking back though, not that the answer changes, but now looking back, do you feel like you should have been playing?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, respect. I mean, I feel like I should have been playing respect, and I did play, but respect. So let me ask you this though: what position were you playing?
I see. I was really playing the four,
How
4-3.
how big are you right now?
I'm
How big were you back then?
nah,
8 and 9? How tall are you?
nah. Believe
7,
it or not, I'm only 6. I'm only 6'6".
6'6"? Okay,
Yeah, I'm
all
6'6".
right.
I came into college 6'6", 235. No
That's
weight.
believable.
Yeah,
6'6", yeah. Man, you playing the 4?
yeah, playing the four.
You
Understand?
probably couldn't shoot very well back then, though, could you?
Huh?
You couldn't shoot very well back then, could you?
I was a bucket back then.
That's not what I
Yeah,
asked, though.
yeah. My sophomore year, I shot 35%.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
Solid.
yeah. I shot 35% back then.
Okay.
Yeah,
A- And then you got to Tennessee. So as a freshman, as a sophomore,
I grad transferred to Tennessee. I
after
was like,
4,
after 3, I graduated college, so I found a loophole in the system not to sit out. So if you graduate early, you could transfer any school you want and don't have to sit out. So I made sure when I came to college, I took I had a system on how I was going to take my classes.
so you got in trying to beat the system.
Of course,
You
everything.
can't. You came in trying to beat the system.
Of course, I'm Nigerian. Everything is a finesse. Everything is a finesse. Where there's a will, there's a way. So we're gonna make it happen. No one knew what was going on, but I knew what was going on.
Oh my gosh. Somebody come get this guy. You said
So, my freshman year I wasn't playing that much, so I just said, "All right, I'm gonna load up on classes." But I done had a system where I'll take a semester worth of classes in the summer, and then I
yeah.
take another semester in the winter, another semester
Okay.
in the spring, just keep going.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
in 2.5 years, I finished my bachelor's.
So a lot of it's fun. It's funny that you say that now that you say that, right? Because back in the day, I knew somebody that was up north too, and up north they don't get summers off. They
Yeah.
would just they got to be up there taking classes, doing school, and so a lot of those people. That's the first. Now that I think about it, the only person that I know that was doing that back then was somebody that was from up north. So now it kind of clicks to me. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
we had practice, workouts, and to be honest, I loved it. So it was a blessing. But I appreciated the fact that although I did not play my freshman year, it prepared me for all the success that was yet to come in the future.
How did you deal with that mentally?
Uh, my freshman year, definitely maturing. I
What
lived in the gym night in, night out. I lived in
What
the
what does that mean, immature? Talk because and I say that and I want you to tell the people who are listening, like tell them what it looks like when you're not playing and you feel like you should be playing. You feel like you're better than that because it happens, right? It happens to everybody. If you're a hooper, you go through it. Like I should be playing, I'm not playing, I'm mad at everybody. How do you handle it?
I would say at that time, coming in college 18, it was the rise of like everybody, you want to get into college, you want to hoop right away. Like you have goals, you want to win rookie of the year, things like that. But every situation is different. For me, I just felt like my whole life to get to where I got to get to, I had to outwork everybody that was in the way to get to where I got to get to. I had to outwork everybody. That was
Mhm.
the same mentality I brought over to college. So my freshman year, uh, our coach said we had to make 10,000 shots by the end of summer session. So everybody did 10,000. I made 20,000.
Can somebody give me a calculator?
Yeah,
How many shots is that a day? I need to
20,000 shots in 6 weeks
he pulled it up on the big screen. Let me see. He pulled it up on the big screen. How many shots is that?
or makes though. It was
10? No, I know because it's funny because Oral Roberts, their coach told me the same thing. They had something like that. Like if they make 10,000 shots, he'll buy them what any pair of shoes they want.
damn. We ain't had no incentive. It was just
Yeah,
our.
that's what I'm saying. So during the summer, he was like, man, he's like, I've got all my managers on StockX, like trying to find these exclusive 2K drops
Yeah,
because he's like, I'm holding true, and I'll have guys that'll come in and they want $1,400 pair of shoes, and I gotta get it for them because I promised them if you get 10,000 over the summer, you get a pair of shoes
yeah. So I stayed both summer sessions just working, and I think I just set the tone.
for sure.
To keep working, and even when I wasn't playing, I stayed ready. 'Cause I had opportunity my freshman year because you're one injury away from being on the rotation. So as
Hmm.
we get to the beginning of the season, someone goes down. Now I'm up in the mix. I'm playing. My
Yeah.
first college game, I had 13 and 8 off the bench. That
Oh,
was
you
my
hoop.
debut. Word, 13 and 8 off the bench. The next game, I'm hooping. The next game, I had 8 points, 17 rebounds as a freshman. Yeah, the Mohegan Sun Hall of Fame tournament.
You said 17 rebounds.
Word, word, word. The game after that, I had 14 to 16. So I'm thinking
Oh,
at
so
this
you doing numbers?
5 games in now,
Doing numbers,
I'm like, yeah, it's late.
and then you sit on
And
the bench.
then indeed, my water got turned off. So that's the business side of it.
Hey, that's it. But okay, all right. Nah, it's all fun and games, bro. But that's the business side of it because that's the truth of it. Is like that's what you got to deal with. And so those are the athletes that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with a lot of those athletes, like a lot of high school guys that are good, like that trying to go college, or college guys who was really trying to break that. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with a lot of those guys, and they all feel the same way you feel. Is like I should be playing. Coach is doing, and then their pride starts really getting tore up.
World
You know what I
tour.
mean? Their pride, their friends. Then they don't have any confidence because they're like, I know I'm good. I know I'm good, but nobody else is validating the fact that I'm good because I'm sitting on the bench, right? And so now so then I must not be that good. And for a younger athlete, it's hard for them to tell themselves they're that good while being reinforced that they're not that good by not playing. You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard for them mentally is they can't understand like you got to wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? You got to wait your nobody else got to skip the line. You don't get to skip the line either. But they think they're better than that. So I tell them like respect the game. Respect the game. You're not better. You know what I mean? Maybe you are good enough to play, but if you're not playing, it's for a reason. Respect the game.
Word.
It sucks.
He had loyalty to the seniors, which I have to respect.
You gotta respect it.
I respect it. I
Because when you're a senior, you want the same love.
facts. So I knew the situation where I was going into coming in. I knew I is 9, 7 seniors. I knew the coach plays the seniors. He's loyal to those guys. I knew that. Redefine the mold. That's the mentality you got to come in with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if you're good enough, they're gonna find a way to put you in.
Facts.
So I've just worked all freshman year. Just worked. Granted, I had some highs, had some lows, but it prepared me mentally to know what's at stake, like to do what I got to do to become a better pro, be a better player. And that summer, once freshman was over, we didn't win many games. All those guys left. I knew what time it was.
Mm-hmm.
He brought in 7 freshmen. Now we competing for playing time next this, that, and the third because I'm a sophomore. As freshman coming in, everyone's equal at this point. Bring some guys in my position. My sophomore year, but in my mind, I already knew it's not going to be a competition. I was already with pros, playing Nike Pro City in New York. I was everywhere there was runs. I was there hooping,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I was battle tested. So by the time sophomore year came, I went from averaging 4 points my freshman year to averaging 14 and 8 my sophomore year.
But how did that happen though? And the reason why I asked that, man, is I see a lot of guys who are good. Like a lot of my athletes, some of my athletes are really good. But they go to the game and they know they're good. Like they know I'm taller, I'm more athletic, especially when you're in high school, you can see if you're more athletic and you're bouncier and you're more fluid, you can feel that you're a little bit more advanced, right? So
Yeah.
some of my guys know they're advanced and they show up to the game and they don't ever flip the switch. They're just on cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
And I get so upset, man, because I'm like, I know that you're good, but that's not good enough. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you got to go and you have to show everybody on the court that I'm the best player out here every single day, and it's hard. And you only get that title, you only get to where you want to get to by going through that. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of why I wanted to ask you, like when you showed up, obviously you put in the work, you got the 20,000 shot, 10 whatever shots, right? You put in the work, but now the lights weren't on you. You were just kind of you were the dog kind of working your way up. Right now you're here. Now the lights is on. Now it's time for you to lead those guys. So
Yeah.
now you got to put in the work, right? So what was that? How did you approach that? Because I know I was just talking to somebody about the mentality. I know my mentality. What was your mentality day in and day out during practice?
Day in, day out, I'm a competitor. Like I love to work. Love everybody. I hold everybody to a high standard. That sophomore year, I wasn't even the captain, so we had another group of seniors. That sophomore year, those were supposed to be the guys. So it was kind of I was in a mix between I'm not a freshman, but my skill set and the way I'm performing at the level of the guys leading the team. But I'm not the captain, so it's like now I'm in the intermediate. I'm in the mix. I'm in the leader behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I relate to the freshmen because I was just in their shoes and have respect to the seniors because I do everything that needs to be done. To answer that question about performing on the court and putting in the work, and like you said, when you good, but you got to showcase it. That goes into a story I'll say when I get to my 5th year when I played for LaVar Ball as my coach, and we'll go back to that one. But sophomore year,
You say you play for LaVar Ball.
yeah, I lived with the Ball brothers, played with them. He trained me.
You
He got me right.
oh, where were
Yeah,
you at?
yeah. I was playing with him in the Drew League. He was my coach for 2 years when I moved to Cali. Trained with him, trained with all the boys.
Really?
Got me right. Yeah,
What was that like?
amazing.
Why?
No, and no accident why all three of the sons made it.
Why?
Killer.
Talk to me. What did you see? Tell us about the tell us from the inside. What'd you see?
I would say it's not about scenes, it's about the experience. It's like the fact of, LaVar is like, as a coach, as a guy, first he's a great person. Big shout out to Big Baller. He's gonna put the confidence in you. You're gonna put the work in. Like, we really put in work every day. Wake up at 5 a.m. We hit the weights, we run the hills, we do the pool workout, then we go on the court. So we put in work every day, but we watch so much film. We watch so much
Mm,
basketball. And
really?
we're training, like, as he's training, he's gonna keep feeding stuff in your head. Like, you're the greatest to ever do it. No one can stop you. Look at you. Like, he's gonna keep telling you this, like, no one can stop you. Like,
Yeah.
the type of things, like, he's gonna keep putting in your head to just get you up there. Like, he's gonna make you lit. And by the next thing you know, you're gonna be a stone cold killer. But you gotta be able to go through the fire. Not everyone's built for that type of work. And and he keeps it real. He always kept it real. That moment where you said you gotta show out and when it's time to perform, I had
Mhm.
a game where I was playing prime time. We made it to the NCAA tournament, won the tournament, went on conference my 5th year. We played Duke in the first round. I only
Ooh.
Yeah. We're winning, like, going into, at some points, I think prior to halftime or shortly in the second half, we had a lead, but we didn't get the job done. This Coach K's last year, LaVar told me on the side, he said, "Yeah, you on primetime television. They got you on all the magazines, all the TV, the commercial, everything about you. But you ain't doing needed to be done. You left food on the table. You left money on the table." And that's what, for the next 2 months, I kept hearing this.
Mm.
Never let that happen again. They could never let that happen again. So I'm training. Training keeps telling me different things, different things. So I get to the Drew League. I led the Drew League in scoring. I averaged 40 a night. And when it was time to match up with real life NBA guys coming in, I was on a whole nother level. Like,
Yeah, you were there.
mentally, I was just on a level like, you get 40, LaVar telling you, why don't you get 70? You think you happy with 40? And this is real. This is real life things. Like, he's gonna tell you this, and like, you just gotta really feel like, yeah,
Hey, bro.
to get 70, like, it's possible. And then you dial in, and it's up. It's up.
I'm laughing, bro. It's because that's what it looks like. And it's like you can't, and I'm glad like you saw it, obviously, but people think that guys like LaVar is crazy. People think that guys like Kobe and guys who talk like they're crazy. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but you gotta be right there. Like,
A college coach will never put you in that position.
right.
You either got it or you don't. To be there, it's either you have to be cut from that cloth, or you have to be tailor made. Like, when they say you're a made man, like, you gotta really go through that fire at some point in your life to take you mentally there to that point where you're gonna do what needs to be done, no matter how it feels. Like, I listened to Cus D'Amato when he was training Mike Tyson in boxing early in his career, and it's like, a professional is someone that has the ability to do what needs to be done no matter how he feels within. And that's just the same thing with basketball.
Hmm.
They're the best pros, no matter what's going on, to get the job,
Hmm.
and they're gonna produce.
I was talking to one of my athletes just yesterday, man. A kid, Joe, the story I was just telling, I was just referencing him earlier. Really good. He's gonna be a college kid, a good kid, man. Can score, but he's real nonchalant all the time, a lot of the time. And I've tried telling him. And when I realized it was in college, I had gotten a fight with my coach. Shout out, big homie Scott Sutton. I remember this was my senior year, and my goal was to average 25. That was my goal, average 25 in college. And I remember I was hooping. I ended up averaging, it ended the season at like 24, something like that. But I remember the preseason, bro, preseason game. This is my senior year. I'm the big dog on the team. It's like, hey, it's my team. I'm doing what I want to do, right? We playing a preseason game. We beating the team. Coach pulls me out. I ain't go back in. I was mad, like visibly mad on the bench. You know what I mean? And after the game, I went and talked to him the next day. And we chopped it up, and he was just like, what was going on? I'm like, man, like this was my goal. I wanted to average all these points. You brought me out before I could get my average. I'm not playing this year. Like I don't care who we're playing. I got to get my stuff off. You know what I mean? And for me, it was just understanding that no matter who's on the court, it doesn't matter. You got to go do your job, right? You have to go do your job. And a lot of times we get in situations where we play against guys who aren't that good. We play against teams who aren't that good. Preseason games, you're warming up, you go out there, you're joking around, you're shooting threes, you're shooting step backs, all of that. But that's not the mentality that you need to be in if you want to succeed. You got
Right.
to go into that. Like, so what I did, and I was telling my kid this, is like, when you go into the game, I know you don't want to play because they're bums, right? Everybody goes in, they don't want to, but you got to go be a professional, do your work. Go in there, get your work done first, then you can joke around. But until you get your 20 points off, you are not joking. You're not playing with your teammates. You're not acting like, oh, these guys aren't very good. Get your work in and get out. You know what I'm saying? And that's about being a professional. And that's just a quick tip, honestly, for guys who want to score the ball, who want to average more points. When you play these teams that aren't that good, you only get, if you're a starter, you only get to 3.5, 3/4, right? You're not going to play the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So you got to go in there and be a pro and get your job done, because when 3/4 is over and you're like me and you were joking around and you were mad at the end of the game, nobody cares. All that matters is you hurt your average because you weren't locked in, right? So come in, be a professional. Like that's the name of the game. If you want to get to that next level, you got to be a professional about your job, right? You got to come in and do what you do.
That's a fact. And I was just training a kid yesterday, and I was just showing him like some moves, and he was like, "Oh, I want to start from back here and get into the move." I said, "Bro, we don't need all that. We need to be able to do to get from A is the move, B is the bucket. This is the most important part.
Facts.
Doing the move and get the bucket. You don't
Facts.
need an extra dribble to get into your move. We don't need. If I have to teach you how to get into a move, you shouldn't be playing basketball.
Right.
You need to be able to drop down, get a move, get a bucket.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's it's I don't care who's on the court. It could be a 5-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 100-year-old. At this point, everybody's a cone. Everybody got to get the court.
Anybody can get it. Everybody's a victim.
That's the mentality. Not even that's the mentality. If you ain't gonna be that way, then you ain't gonna really get what you could get out of this game.
I mean, because somebody is going to be that way, and you'll lose against that person every time. You know
Every
what I
time,
mean? Every
and
time.
that's one thing I learned, especially once I got out of college and became a pro. Because once you become a pro, you playing for yourself. Like you playing for the team, but at the end of the day, you gotta build your career. You only go as far as what you do.
Segue me through that shift, through that mentality shift, because I've been there, right? And you're in your first couple years, you're kind of there as well. It's like, well, and a lot of guys fall into this areas. I want to play good basketball, but good basketball doesn't get you to where you want to get to all the time. You know what I'm saying? So how do we find the mix between getting mine and being a good teammate and playing good basketball? How do we find that even ground?
I would say honestly, I was able to avoid that limbo because after college I lived with LaVar and we got all that out the way.
Yeah, it was nothing about
Got
that.
all that out the way because at the end of the day, you're only successful as what you put on the production. And as long as you're on the court, you just got to find a way to be productive. It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter what you could do what the team asks you to do, run your plays. But at some point, basketball got to be played. You could run the floor, you could rebound, you could get fouled. You have a lot more control than people give themselves credit for on the
Hmm.
court. So, you know, I never really look at it like, how can I get to where I gotta get to and play for the team? I could play through the team and find a way to showcase what I do best by doing whatever the concept is. Because that's all basketball is. That's all plays are, just concepts. The players got to make the plays at some point
Hmm.
in time. So you just got to be a player enough to play them plays,
Yeah.
and you just got to work the game and have them skills.
Do you think that confidence plays a role in that?
Yes, 100%. If you ain't confident in your ability, no one will be confident in you. And you can't if you can't be confident on the court, you won't be able to play to your true potential. And a lot of it is mindset, but you know, yeah, you could be in the gym a lot, but you can still not have confidence, even though you're in the gym. You could be,
How do you build that confidence then? Okay, walk me through that because you're right, but walk me through that. Right, a lot so because a lot of people are in the gym. I don't know what they're doing there, but a lot of people say they're in the gym, and so I'm trying to figure out what are you doing there if I see you and you're not really producing. What are you doing while you're in the gym?
yeah, I'm gonna say this, like confidence comes from the ability to overcome adversity. The more adversity you overcome, the more trust you got in yourself that you're able to do something when things get tough.
Okay.
And that's what it comes down to the quote where they say you got to go through the fire, like to become made. You know, it's iron sharpens iron, and you got to go through it. And once you overcome those obstacles and don't quit, and you still survive, and you see, oh, I got better at this, I got better at that. You're gonna feel better about yourself. And when it comes to this game of basketball, you know, there's people out there that's scared to go left. Not like they don't work on their left; they're scared to mess up if they go left. And this is real. So you know, a lot of this mental. The game is mental, but I would say on a pro level, I've seen players whose confidence is so high it boosted up their skills, even though they aren't skilled. I've seen the least skilled players have confidence on a million, and they play so well just because they had that self belief. They get in the places that their skill level they don't meet the requirements, but that confidence level boosts up their skill. And there's players that's super skilled but just don't have the confidence, so you never get to see those skills.
Before we got on this call, I was recording a video right before we got on this call, and the
Hmm.
video was about your skill. It was about skill not being about that's what everybody's focused on is getting better and their skill and their skill. And I'm like, yeah, but you're skilled enough. I mean, you're skilled enough to get the job done. Yes, you could be more skilled. You're skilled enough to get the job done. The skill is not the bottleneck right now, though. You can
Hmm.
make a shot. You know how to. The skill is not the bottleneck, right? It's your mindset is the bottleneck. It's like you can go left. You're just afraid to go left. And I
Hmm.
know you can shoot the ball, but when you get the ball, you don't shoot it. Why? Because you're scared to shoot the ball.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like and that's what I like to tell people. It's just a mindset thing, like that guy doesn't have more skill than you. He's just taking more shots than you. So then he's made more shots than you. That's all.
There you go. And I would say, you know, obviously the game every 10 years or so, the game not necessarily changes, but the way it's taught is changing. The experience is changing.
Okay.
You grew up with AAU, old fashioned AAU, where you had your teams, you going to nationals, you got to win your state, you got to win your region. It's layers to get to that smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gets to play against the best is a filter system.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get up there. You know, it wasn't so accessible, so you really had to refine. You were faced with more adversity early
Yeah.
than in today's generation, where you could just swap AU teams, play in these
Yeah.
tournaments. You could manipulate. You could dodge the adversity that makes you a good player
Right.
at the young age to get to this point. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to me quickly, man. I know you got to go get your workout in. Talk to me really quickly about adversity at the professional level.
At a professional level, it's I can say I've been very blessed. Um, I'm in year three, closing year three, but I played nonstop since we lost in the March Madness. I haven't had an off season, so
Dang.
playing 3 years straight. So I had a lot of experience, and I'm very thankful for. Played in Europe, played in Asia. I would say definitely always being professional uh, always helps. Being a
Yeah.
always helps. But we gotta remember the name of the game is basketball. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to
Mm-hmm.
do what you gotta do on the court.
Mm-hmm.
I was in situations where, you know, I probably didn't play as much. And, you know, the coach, for whatever his reasons, may have wanted someone else, wants to play this guy. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes in the game of professional basketball because money's involved. So everybody got to go with what they feel comfortable is to protect their jobs. And you
Mm-hmm.
as a player, the only way you can protect your job is doing what you got to do on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I always learned when I was younger, is if you get 5 minutes, make it the best 5 minutes you get. Put some stats on the board, whether it's rebounds, points, something. And at least you can always justify. If you want more minutes, you can be like, listen, in 5 minutes, I averaged 4 points, 2 rebounds. Imagine you gave me 10 minutes. You always want to have that leverage to say that, because no time is too little.
That is the only way you get on the court.
Facts.
That's the only, there's not another way. If you get five, go put up numbers in five. If I give you five and you come back with no numbers, then you'll get four next game.
Facts. And I made it I learned quick. I knew quick. I just get right to it. Whenever you get in the game, you don't know how. I know to this day, I don't know how long I'm be in the game.
Get
I
right
just
to
know
it.
when I'm in there, it's time to get to it, and that's the mentality you got to play with. And I try to teach kids that, high school kids, the guys at college that I mentor and talk to, is like 20 minutes is a lot of time to get a lot of things done. You got to make your 20 minutes count, and especially at the pro level, you playing in Europe, no one's really playing 30 minutes.
20 minutes. 20 minutes. You better go get busy in 20 minutes.
You feel me? And I'll say this though. Living with LaVar, having him as a coach at that time, he broke the game down a little bit different to
Mm-hmm.
me. That changed the whole perspective of how I look at basketball and how I play. Because it's like he taught me the nuances behind maximizing 20 minutes. Let's maximize the 10 minutes to be 15, 20 minutes. So, and that you can, in essence, make the game longer for yourself while you're in there. Because yeah, you got dead balls, you got media timeouts. On that stat sheet, still gonna say, "Oh, you played 3 minutes during that media timeout," but time's going by, so you got to make sure every possession counts. If you get fouled, the clock stops. So get
Mm-hmm.
to that line.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go run it up with no time coming off the clock. That means you got to stay in longer. Let's say you go play 8 minutes, you get fouled 4 times. You really played 12 minutes, 13 minutes because the clock stopped. He got to keep you in. So just little things like that, little tricks of the trade, I just apply to. And, I've
That's
been fortunate enough. Well, the last few leagues I played now, I led in free throw attempts.
that's the whole different, like, people don't even really when you start breaking a game like that down, it gets scary of what you can do. And I mean, that's how I used to break the game down, right? You got to break the game down into segments. How many shots do I want in these next 5 minutes,
Yeah,
right? That you got to break the game. You got to play games within the game. People show up to the game and they're like, all right, got a game today,
yeah,
let's see what happens. And I'm like, that you can't attack the game like that. You got to be prepared if you want to get something out of it. Now, if you
yeah,
want to go out there and just have fun, sure. But if you got a goal, then you got to get to it, man.
for sure.
Um,
And I'll
no,
say
dude.
the higher level you go, for kids, you got to know the higher level you go, there's going to be more killers and more people with that mentality. There's going to be smaller games within the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be detailed and locked in. And, reading this book called Atomic Habits.
Yep. Favorite, one of my favorites.
I recommend a lot of kids to read it, especially this generation where social media is driven a comparison between other players. I was fortunate enough that we didn't have all of that to the nature they have it now, because you was more focused on the individual development of yourself, not now
Mm-hmm.
trying to see what everyone else is doing. Hey, you
Mm-hmm.
outside of yourself. So definitely for the next generation of players, they're gonna face different struggles and different scenarios that we faced, but they got to find a way to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
And to really become a good player, no player that became good without overcoming some type
Fact.
of challenge through this game.
Man, that's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful. I think that's just really important for kids to understand, because like I said, I'm dealing with a lot of younger athletes. I say younger, I'm 32. You're dealing with younger athletes, but just to try to show them, like, there's ways to kind of maneuver around. You don't have to keep running into the wall. There's different ways to achieve what you're trying to achieve. You just got to look at it from different angles, from different perspectives, right? You
Mhm.
see it from your perspective, the emotional perspective, the perspective of, coach doesn't like me, and you don't want to look at it from that perspective. It's, what can I do to help? How can I position myself so they need me, right? So they want to play me more. How do I make it easier? Doing the little things, playing hard, playing defense, get, just little things like that. So I love that they've got a guy like yourself that they can talk to, man. I know you got to get out of here, bro. But before we get out of here, I want to ask you two questions. All right, two questions I always ask my guests. Number one, if there's somebody who is somebody who has had a an impact on your mental, the way that you see the game, the way that you see life, on how you kind of mentally assess life, right, and sports, who would that be? Who has had an impact on your mental?
Life in sports.
A big homie. This is what I say. I call them big homies, right? So all my big homies, I always love to give them shout. I always love to shout them out, man, because they've had a big impact on my life and my journey. So just who has been your big homie? Somebody that you looked up to, has kind of paved the way for you.
I was very blessed and fortunate to have many
I mean, you
coaches.
said Ball. Honestly, that might be one, but go ahead.
Yeah. On a basketball standpoint, LaVar for sure.
For
LaVar,
sure, yeah.
bronze in both. I had a lot of AU coaches. Kyle Anderson Sr., he was my
Okay.
AU coach. Kyle Anderson that was
Yeah.
with the Timberwolves last year. I played with the Warriors and now with the Heat. From Jersey, Slow-mo.
Slow mo, yeah. Slow
Yeah,
mo. Okay.
his
Yeah, yeah,
pops
yeah.
was my AU.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark Jarrell. I played for the team called the Firm, based in New Jersey, AU team called the Firm.
Okay.
Um, those guys. As far as life, had many life mentors, but I got a guy, Mr. B, calling the Chancellor. I met him in Cali. A great guy. Taught me a lot about life and business. Shout out to him,
Okay.
sure, his family, and those I would say those are the key guys. And I've been very fortunate, to have many people on the list.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was good.
It's
That was good. Uh Secondly, man, how do you practice self-love?
self-love. That's a great question. How do I practice self-love?
Self-love. You see the hat, you can't probably even see it.
Self-love, I be traveling, you know what I'm saying? Traveling, having new experiences. You put so much in this game, you gotta start enjoying what comes with it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I made a lot of sacrifices, high school, college, even the pros, to continue to advance your career. But now you get to start seeing the fruits of your labor. I
Hmm.
say that's the biggest self-love is just loving yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I
Keep
love that, man.
experiences for yourself, yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's it, bro. Man, EJ, I appreciate you for coming on here, bro. Sharing all your experiences, man. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, everybody, you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel,
Ooh, you got a YouTube. Okay.
Anosike 24. On my YouTube channel, I show my normal lifestyle of me traveling the world, experiencing new countries, do a lot of camps for kids. My Instagram is Anosike, and on TikTok as well, Anosike. You can get me on all socials. But yeah, YouTube, I'm showcasing every country I go to. I provide a new experience.
That's how I found you. Just seeing your vlog type stuff. I'm like, okay, what he got going on?
Yo, yeah, I mean, I'm
Fella,
gonna lie.
fella Niger, bro. So I'm like, all right, let me tap in.
Word, man. Hopefully, I get to the Olympics like you, baby boy.
Man, look,
Hey,
you gonna
man.
get there.
Uh,
Hopefully we get there.
hey, man. Facts. Well, I'm not gonna
Hopefully.
lie. The FIBA got so many rules, but it's so bad for the African countries because, like, man, like growing up as Nigerian, we didn't have biometric passports. The Nigeria just got biometric passports like 10, 12 years, 10 years ago. Like,
Hey, side note, I went to Houston to get my passport a year ago. They still ain't shipped it.
yeah. So
They
we
still hold my
not trying to hear
passport.
that. People is not trying to hear that. Like, if you're Nigerian, if you're born to two Nigerian parents, you're automatically a citizen.
Yeah, yeah.
People not trying to hear that. It's like we want the biometric passports, and I'm like,
Oh, so you haven't been able to get accepted yet.
I played,
But FIBA been
but
yeah,
like a lot of guys for Nigeria, we held up right now with FIBA because it's like we're
yeah,
I'm caught in a weird generation,
yeah.
whereas Nigeria started transition to biometric before it used to be on your if you're a kid under 18 and you were born abroad, you was on your parents' passport, like they endorsed you on your
Right,
parents.
right.
So that's how like me and all seven of my siblings were on my mother's passport. as Nigerian citizens. This was our passport. It wasn't until you turned 18 that they cross your name off and then give you your own. But me, like I want to say 10 years ago, they changed it now and started giving everybody biometrics.
Nigeria, listen, Nigeria, we got
And
to
not
be
just
better.
Nigeria, all the African countries going through it. I
No,
think
I know, but just Nigeria, we got to be, come on. I'm not going. We got to be better,
gotta
man.
be
Come
better.
on.
So we waiting. So like we gotta see what FIBA talking about because a lot of African countries, they want to compete for World Cup and stuff like that, and because soccer is different. Soccer doesn't have that rule. Soccer don't have that. Soccer got lineage. If your
Yeah,
mother,
they're grandfathered in too.
like you're good.
Yeah,
They
they
don't have
legacy in.
basketball. So I heard they were supposed to vote on it last week. That's what Musa told me.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to be getting paid from the Olympics.
Hey man, that's pretty great shit, man. Hey man,
Let
let
me,
us. Hey, we don't want to get the podcast shut down.
man, let me not get in there. Let me not get into the
At least he was
all
here.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep quiet, y'all. Disregard all of that. All right,
Yeah, man.
man. Nah, I appreciate you, brother. For y'all that don't know, this is he and I first time for actually linking up. So
After a couple years, oh,
after a couple years of knowing each other, but just actually first time getting on and linking up, bro. So it's
man,
always love, brother. I appreciate you, man, and we gotta stay in touch, man, for sure.
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. Be safe, man.
Yes, sir. You too.